Deep in the twisting trees of yore, where light has never found the floor, an ancient creature dwells alone, its name and purpose all unknown. It stalks the gloom with eyes of flame, they give its murky form no name, for none who gazed have lived to tell the horrors of that shadowy dell. The lurker they whisper in hushed dread, when chilled winds moan through leaves overhead. What form it takes none dare imagine, only its hunt brings ruinous ravage. It stalks when naught but moon is seen, floating through the inky green, seeking souls lost in passion's thrall, their wandering brings about their fall. For lust clouds reason from the mind, leaving one to fate's most unkind, when in that murk one strays alone, the lurker seizes for its gnawing bone. It drags them writhing into the pitch, their screams are ended with ghoulish relish, none returns from that fated grasp, all are but prey for its ravenous asp. The villagers lived in constant fear, of what fate the woods might bring more drear, none dared tread where shadows slept, lest the lurker claimed them in moon's adept. But there was one who would not heed, the demon lurking in shade and weed, a wild youth named Edgar the Bold, who scorned warnings tales oft told. He roamed the village with swagger and pride, challenging any who questioned his stride. No omen or portent he'd pay mind, to shadows and whispers he was blind. Many maids he'd lead astray, with honeyed words by night and day, charming them into the green so dim, where passion's needs he did not spare grim. But the village grew cold with each missing soul, who fell to Edgar's licentious role. The elders warned him to change his way, lest fate itself exact its bitter pay. Yet in his pride and wild conceit, he laughed at their protests weak and teat. The woods hold no terror that I heed, I am not prey but the hunter's seed. One evening as dusk drew its pall, he spied a maiden fetching well, with hair of gold and eyes aglow. He had not sampled this flower so. He charmed her secretly in the gloam, promising passion and shadowed lone. Foolish with longing her reserves fell away, as he led her into the wood's murky sway. Deep between the ancient trees entwined, under boughs that blotted the sky's design, he kissed her hotly upon mossy ground, oblivious to the doom around. But even their lust could not still the cries of prowling shapes in the woodland highs. Great eyes gleamed through twisted boughs night, as a giant form stalked into the half-light. The lurker had scented their sinful play, drawn to reap souls led astray. It slid through branches still as death, ready to rip them with steel-hard teeth. The lovers broke for breath and looked around, just as a shadow crossed the ground. Two pools of flame met their terrified gaze, as death's incarnate viewed their crazed ways. A soul-wrenching howl split the trees, primeval and terrible in its ease. It sprang like a nightmare writ large, the hunter became this demon's targe. Red jaws gaped to engulf him in a surge, talons lashed to pierce and plunge. The maiden screamed as her love disappeared, dragged into dark to meet his bier. It savaged him in an orgy of gore, drenching the glade and causing more. Fingers, limbs and pulped flesh spread in its wake. The virgin it spared but shattered her frail psyche. She fled madly into the night, with visions of ruin she could not requite, of a demon that haunts forbidden desires, and punishes those Cupid's brand expires. Word spread through the village like a scythe, of Edgar's end and the horror's tithe. None now dared follow lust's call or cue, lest they face a terror more grisly to rue. The lurker's domain none would tread, where passion once led now only lay dread. A lesson was learned of the cost man must pay, for giving in to lust's hold sway. Its name struck terror where'er mentioned, of all sins that could bring ruination. Lust lures one to a darkness dire, best shun such passions and their mire. So the creature dwells as shadow and beast, guarding the wood with fang and fist. Any who stray from reason's hold, become prey for terrors manifold. Its purpose is clear for those with sight, to warn of passion and appetite, that costs one soul and spite's most grim. Best keep such hungers locked up within. In yon grim forest it forever will lurk, fulfilling its role as nature's clerk, teaching all who forget terror's fervor, the wages of sin is a demonic sever. So ends my tale of dread and spell, of a nameless thing in a woodland dell, a lesson to heed on sin's result, lest you face a creature of ravening cult.